Hi, Brandon. How are you?
I am so good. How are you?
Doing really good. I'm so excited to be talking with you today.
Oh, thank you so much for, even caring, let alone asking me to come on. You're absolutely fantastic interviewer, and I've actually spent some time researching you. You're quite impressive.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind. I did quite a bit of research on you as well.
Well, here's hoping most of it was true and good.
Well, I did watch Cowboys and Aliens the other day, and that's definitely a very underrated movie.
We had fun making it. I'll tell you that much. I had a lot of fun making it. Thank you for watching it.
No problem. I have to say it was a very long time since I last watched this, so I got the DVD, and boy, do I not regret it.
I hope you watched the extras because
I
they got
did.
a little bit with me. You did?
I always watch
Yeah.
the extras.
Yeah, it's usually where the really fun stuff is.
Oh, I love watching behind the scenes features. That's something I definitely enjoy watching just as much as I love watching movies.
Oh, I agree. That's actually what got me into movies. Besides the fact that I kind of grew up around them, was that the camaraderie and that what really helped create these moments that people are like, oh my goodness, and you're like, oh really? That was the moment? Because I thought it was 5 minutes before. So yeah, that's what drew me in.
And you practically grew up with movies because your grandfather was the great John Wayne. What was it
Yeah.
like growing up knowing his movies and his iconic roles?
It's funny because my mom is his daughter, and so I didn't have to have the Wayne name. It's something I chose on stage, and we had a whole process with that. Spoke to my father, talked about it. But growing up with JW as your grandfather, I had a great mom, and she was very good about separating the idea of who this John Wayne and the Duke was, and then your granddaddy. And so my grandfather, totally different guy. And then as I grew older, I really, really delved into his movies. Like when I was like 9, really started to push hard. And then I was like, wow. And then I saw the way people responded to him years after he's, died. And I thought, wow, he's done something, this guy. He might be something. Turned out he was quite a bit. It was cool. I've never had a bad day being John Wayne's grandson, I'll tell you that much.
Well, when you were on Cowboys and Aliens, did you have any kind of questions or comparisons when doing that movie?
I think there was. I think I had a little expectation of making sure that I didn't sully the family name. But the great thing about being on that movie was beyond John and his inclusivity and his constant incorporation of all, and I mean all of those around him, whatever aspect it was, whether it was set deck or a PA. If he asked you your opinion or your idea, he was really incredible about incorporating that. And so that was really cool. But I got to work with Tommy Harper, who was the stunt coordinator, and Terry Leonard, who was the second unit director and a famous coordinator who had worked with my grandfather. And so it's been amazing because they were like, hey, listen, you can't suck. You have to be good. So I'll see you every morning, and I'm taking you to the ranch, and we're going to make sure that when you get on the horse, you look good every time. And so I had a lot of people who supported me because of who my grandfather was and what he meant to them, and their understanding of the business and my need to fulfill those things. So yes, there was expectations, and I'm very happy with what the result was.
And growing up watching movies, you how can you not know who John Wayne is? I've heard that the name so many times, and when I found out your connection a while back, I was like, "Wow, that's so cool!"
Yeah.
And then I reached out to your reps, and then here we are now.
Yeah, it's funny because I had heard about you before that from my manager, who's been around a long time, Jerry Silverheart. He's always been a good, loyal friend and manager. but he had spoken so highly of you. He had followed you well before I knew. I'm not very up on, yeah, and I'm not very up on social media. So like my daughters helped me quite a bit with that, because I'm terrible at it. So so I had to learn, and he was a big fan, and I respect he's got a great eye for talent, always has. So present company excluded. You, on the other hand, he's dead on about. So it's really cool. I love what I've seen through your process and your growth as an interviewer and a fan.
Thank you so much. That's very so kind of you to say. You two are the only ones that actually say that to me.
Oh, wow.
I've never heard that before, so that was really that was touching.
Well, like, and I'll tell you what, like, I'm a fan. Like, I go on set. It doesn't matter what set I'm on usually. There's some movies that I wish I'd never done, but I always on set, the pull to do things is an incredible advantage, and it's really nice to be around that. And so I go on as a fan. I go to Star Wars, I'm a fan first, and then I'm the Mandalorian. And that's how I approach it. Like, well, if not if, I'm a fan, so how does this represent for me? How can I create the character I want with dignity, with inclusivity, with grace and understanding? And how can I honor everything that came before me that allowed me to do this job, whether it's my family, my wife, my kids, all those people who supported me, or whether it's Ewan McGregor or Mark Hamill, Han Solo, Carrie Fisher, George Lucas. Those are all things that matter to me, because it's how I grew up. This was my Western. It just happened to be in space. And then I got invited to do this. But I can tell you're a fan of what you do. But it allows, like, you watch the great interviewers, you watch the Kimmels, you watch the Cordons, and you immediately relate to them as an audience member. So it's not just I get to interview this guy or whatever, and I'm doing this. You do such a wonderful job of having the joy and the exuberance without overwhelming it. It's just a really great balance. So I love it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I've been a really big Star Wars fan since I was like 5 years old. I'm 24 now, so that's been a long time since I started watching them on VHS. So that was like my start of it there with the original trilogy, and things just kind of escalated over time. And now we got Obi-Wan Kenobi out, and I waited 17 years for that.
Yeah, Obi, so good.
Oh, definitely so good. Did you watch the new episode yet?
Yes, and I'm totally biased, because when we were preparing for season 1, I got to go and rehearse, and I rehearsed with Deb Chow, and she took me under her wing, and her vision and compassion was so overwhelming and so exciting that I knew what she was going to do with Obi was going to be amazing. I knew it was going to carry those feelings, and I know she's telling a long story. So, sometimes we get caught up in the moment. We're like, I know where this is going. And she's telling a traditional, like, a long story, and it's beautiful. And another funny bit is that during season 1, when I was on set, a guy came over, and I was in between shots, and, I'm in the suit and doing all the work and everything. And, I didn't even hear him really. He was like, "Oh, nice to meet you." I was like, "Hey, good to meet you, Brendan Wayne." He was very unassuming and walked out. About 10 minutes later, one of the PAs goes, "Hey, wow, you're really not impressed." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, "That was Ewan McGregor." And I was like, "What? Oh my!" I'm like, "Bring him back." They're like, "He already left." I'm like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm an imbecile." Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, that is surreal. I don't know what I would do if I met someone in person from Star Wars, especially Ewan McGregor or Hayden or anyone from the original trilogy. I think I'd freak out.
I moments. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, meeting Tamura. I was a fan of his before I ever got to meet him. I can go through the list. It's quite amazing the people that I've been made available. And I'll tell you this, to a person, I can honestly tell you they're just humans and they like that human interaction. I haven't noticed anybody who wants you to really kind of like pet them, like, oh, you're so great. Like they want to know your experience, and it's so wonderful. They're grounded and humane in their approach. And it's something I learned from my grandfather and my mother, that I don't have a job if there isn't somebody out there who cares to watch what I do. And so, yeah, I really do need to understand that every time I'm here.
And I feel the same way, especially when I interact with those on like social media, when I do my interviews, or when I go to Comic Cons and meet people. I always share my personal experience, and that's how most people I met know me from, because they know my story. Like they know I have autism, they know I'm a fan, and it's just surreal that not only when I go to these cons and they already know who I am. I don't know what more I can ask for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that means you're doing an incredible job.
Thank you.
Yeah, no.
I gotta say, this is the best interview I've done so far. You've been giving me a lot more compliments than I've been getting you so far.
I don't need compliments. The fact that you like the show enough to reach out to me, that's the biggest compliment I can have. Because
how can I not like the show?
well, I mean, I'm sure there's somebody. I don't know who it is. I enjoy the show, and I don't mean myself. I don't like watching myself ever, but I do enjoy the show because the themes mean the world to me, and my co-stars are amazing. Getting to work with Katie, Emily, Rosario, Simon. I mean, the list goes on and on. And Bill Burr. It's like I don't know. It's like a kid in the candy store, and you're like, wait, I've actually gotten to a certain place where somebody trusts me enough to drive their ship or to tell their story. And that's where John and Dave come in, and their brilliance. And Kathleen Kennedy has just been nothing but amazing, and always kind to me. She always made sure that I knew that she recognized the work I'm doing. And before we kind of let the cat out of the bag, it was it could have been tough. It wasn't, because they were always there and supported for me.
Right. And I love that. I love those that will be supportive of everyone, and they just accept what you're doing. And that's kind of like how you are right now. You're talking to me, so you accepted me as a fan, and you also you did your research on me, so that was pretty impressive, actually.
I just think to me, it takes courage to succeed, and so I'm very interested in I'm less interested in the success of it, and I'm super happy for the success of it, but I'm more interested in the journey of it. And a friend of mine, when I got Cowboys and Aliens, I was really excited. It was a lot smaller by the end of the movie, like when they edited it, my part, but which was also a reality check and an obstacle I overcame. But a friend of mine sent me, hey, it's the journey, not the destination. And I thought at the time I knew it, but I didn't know it. Yeah. And that I've been appreciating all the steps. So when I look at your career, as I would call it, I see the steps and the obstacles we have to overcome as artists, as fans, as whatever, as professionals, which is what you are. You're a professional. Beyond just being a fan. I know you're a fan, but you're a pro. And so for me, what are the obstacles we overcome? First of all, sometimes we have to overcome our fandom. Like I was sitting across from Carl Weathers in season 1, and I'm trying to put the hollow puck down and pull my gun off and make it look good and have this scene with him. But for me, growing up, he's Apollo Creed. He was Action Jackson. Like he is still, but up to that point was one of my heroes. So I was, and I don't usually get very impressed with people. I've lived and met quite a few because of who my grandfather was. And I found that the person and their actions are the things that do it, right? So he keeps looking at me, and finally he's like, "Hey, Brendan, I need you to like speak up and be here with me in this moment right now." And I was like, "I'm so sorry, man. I got to get this out. I'm a huge fan of yours." And then I get through it, and I'm thinking like I'm this kind of, rugged guy. I can do physical things. I can ride horses, shoot, go, whatever. I can throw a punch, whatever. But I'm sitting across this, and he's like, and he ends up being my mentor because he allowed me to open up, and he taught me how to approach him and do these things. He gave me the permission initially. It really helped me in season 1 and helped the character grow. And so, I get it. Like watching those things, and then he's mentored me throughout. When I got real sick in season 2, he was one of the few who reached out and gave me a call and making me choke up. He really took care of me and always does. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you got to work with Carl Weathers and a whole bunch of other people during the production of Mandalorian and Boba Fett. Who have you enjoyed working with the most?
Well, beyond John and Dave, who are, they could be, arrogant or very confident to the point of unapproachability. They're not. They are absolutely amazing. So I have to give it to them first. But on set, like it's important to me that whether you're a day player, PA, somebody who's just working one day and has to wrangle background characters, or the first team, which would be like me and Ming, and you matter. And I'm going to talk to you just like anybody else. If I can stand up, walk over and get something, then I'm going to do that. I'm not going to tell you to go do it. Everybody's job has to be done in order for us to create a show that Belle's going to love. It doesn't matter if I come out in that suit if I don't let set deck do what they do. And so it was important to me that we create a really tight unit, and that John definitely is the first in line in creating that. And then for me, people are always like, wow, it's so weird to have somebody, your number on the call sheet who's so approachable. Like you let me in your room. I'm like, yeah, bro, we're just people. If I'm busy, I'll tell you. I won't be rude. And if I had a bad day coming in, I'm not bringing it into you. Like, so for me, the people that I got to work with and learn from, it could be, my first AD, Kim Richards, who oftentimes is left to direct me in certain situations for whatever, the reason might be, or D Camp, who had to wrangle me and keep me from, staring at the butterflies instead of focusing in where I needed to Jeff in lighting, or Jeff in greens, or the list is long, and there are very few, if any, that I don't appreciate working with as far as movie stars go. Ming Na Wen is a movie star. That's it all. Pardon me. Somebody knocked at my door and my dogs are mad. They're gonna yell at people. But there's an it factor that happens, and the people said my grandfather had it. Ming Na has it. Carl Weathers has it. They need to stop barking. They're really annoying me. Ming Na, Carl. Really, like Bill Burr. You think I'm thinking going in. First of all, I'm a huge fan. He's hilarious. But more importantly, is it just going to be kind of like bada bing, that's it the whole time, and we're really not going to tell the story? his talent level is off the charts. Like, it is crazy. Like, he is so good, and the actual craft of acting is really important to him. Robert Rodriguez, he's everything you'd hope and more. Like, you want to talk about somebody who is in the moment talking to you. If he's talking to you, he's there. He's not messing around, and it's not so intense that you want to run and hide. And he's the most encouraging. Like, he got me to play guitar. And he's like, just do it. Just start going. I was like, nah, blah, blah, blah. He was like, no, do it. And he brought me in his trailer at one point. I was like, let's go. Let's drum. Like, he's just a really good man. And it's down the line, working with Julia Jones. It's just that whole episode. At the end of the day, if I go to an island and I need someone who's going to ask what needs to be asked of me, who's going to support me, there's no shortage, but I know Bryce Dallas Howard. Hey, Sassy. Yes, I have a dog named Sassy. Sassy. She's a big American.
Too, so I understand the feeling.
I can't. Mine don't. They listen to me when I say it's dinner time, but that's about it. But Bryce Dallas Howard, she's always like, she's the truth. Like, she's always protected me, supported me, and got the best out of me, and recognized when she thought, hey, you did something special there. And I mean, if she called me and said, hey, I need you to bring a rug, we're going to roll up a body, I'm over there and I'm cleaning up for her. Totally kidding. She would never. She's amazing. But yeah, I mean, I can't single anyone out because they all are great. Ming, she's like a breath of fresh air. My limited time working with Rosario, the most positive, most energetic, and just looking at her philanthropies and things like that, like, she's kind of like, when people are like hashtag goals, that's who she is in a lot of ways for me. So yeah, awesome. I mean, they're all as good as you would hope.
Oh, you got to work with so many amazing people. I mean, we got Robert Rodriguez. I practically grew up watching his movies, from like Spy Kids and Sharp Boy and Lava Girl when I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
That's my yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So
cool. Yeah, there's my book of Boba hat.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
really I have a beanie hat with that logo on it.
Do you?
Yeah.
I might have to send you. Mandalorian season 3 one, and I think I have an extra one. We'll get your info, and I'll send it.
Oh my God.
If I don't have a beanie, because I know it gets cold in Minnesota.
Oh, definitely does.
I'll get you. I know, I've been there. I'll get you one of these season 3s, Mandalorian ones. If not.
That's awesome. I do have quite the hat collection, and I got in touch with a lot of productions, and I got a lot of hats.
Oh man, I'm 100%. I will find any extras and make sure you get one of each.
Oh my gosh, you are too kind.
Nah, man, come on. We love this stuff. Man, I want everyone to see it. I think the stories are so important, whether you're growing up and need some mythology and some ideas that aren't so like, hey, you have to be good because it's not okay. Instead, you get to watch a story unfold where someone chooses to be good. Right. And my grandfather did a great job of that quite often, where he was not always a good guy, but he did the right thing or the good thing in the toughest moments. So yeah, well, a big fan of the stories that Lucas and now Filoni and Favreau are telling.
Oh, I agree. I definitely love everything that the world of Star Wars has been doing, especially with all the new announcements that came out at Celebration last week. I could not believe them.
Wait, you weren't out at Celebration, right?
Oh no, I just followed it on the internet. I wish I was there. But I think
We're gonna get you.
I think one of the most exciting things for me was actually the
Yeah,
announcement for Willow. So that's something I
I
grew up with, and I
me
cannot wait
too.
to see the show.
Yes. Oh, you just gave me chills. I'm so excited for that. It's gonna.
I'm
I mean,
so retro for my age that you wouldn't believe it, but yes,
I
I
know.
love Willow.
Now wait. So if you love Willow, do you also love Goonies?
Goonies, how can I not?
All right, good. I mean, because to me, those two go hand in hand.
And then we got
How about
Indiana Jones coming out too, so that's another one that got announced.
right?
You
What
wouldn't
about
believe it if I told you how retro I was, that I wish I was from the 80s.
just so you know, that's my dog Tinkerbell, who was making that bark.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, till she barks. But I was super excited about. Now I can't remember the name of it. Jude Law's.
Oh my gosh, yes. I was definitely surprised to hear his announcement for Star Wars, because we just finished watching him in Fantastic Beasts, and now he's
Yeah,
part of Star Wars. And he's Marvel too. He's got Marvel on his hands.
yeah, yeah. He's got it. I mean, he's everywhere. Like I did. It was funny because when Ming Na came on as Fennec, I said, I worked with you before,
On
and she's
Agents of
like,
Shield.
I was on Agents of Shield, and it's funny because it was just initially it was going to be just kind of a 1 day, 2 days on the show, and I knew it was ending, so like eventually, so I was like, let's just go do this, and then Joss Whedon was like, so we're going to keep you, and then they didn't realize how many episodes it was going to end up being, and on the last one I was doing, he's like, I'm so sorry. We should have given you more dialogue. This is awful. So I was like, I don't care, dude. I get to hang out. And then Ming realized, oh yeah, you were the bodyguard for G. So me and Gordon, and it was just really that was a fun place to be too.
I watched the show, and I only found out recently when I found out about our chat that you were in season 2, and I'm like, how did I miss that?
Yeah, it was
I love
fun.
that show. That was such a great show when it was on.
Yeah, we had a good time.
What was it like to be a part of Marvel and Star Wars?
A dream come true. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, this is now I got to get into DC somehow,
Oh,
just so I
that's
can say
awesome. Yeah.
I've got across the board. For me, the pinnacle is just being able to work in something you love. I don't care where the stories, what universe or multiverse it's being told in. If you're telling stories you love to tell, and you get to play a character that represents your, path in life, then I don't care what you're telling. It's going to come across and people are going to enjoy it.
Right. I definitely agree with that. And when I'm doing all my research on you, you got to be a part of all these amazing things and work with incredible people that worked on pretty much all platforms. And we were just talking about Bryce Dallas Howard, and she's going to be in Jurassic World next week. I can't believe that's
Yeah.
happening already. I
All
waited
right.
far too long for the original trio to come back for that one.
Oh yeah. And you think about her like episodes, somehow a young director whose her process is very, very collaborative, is able to tell the stories that really resonate in The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. Like people are remembering her episodes, like chapter 4 in season 1 with Omera and that whole story, and how we were able to communicate this respect and love for each other without having to do anything what I would call untoward. I didn't even take my helmet off. There was a chivalry to it all. And Bryce is able to portray the women in her stories, whether it's herself or as a director, with so much honor, strength, and grace that it's amazing. So Yeah, I'm
The
excited for
episode is
direct.
definitely unique to the director's perspectives, and that's something I really admired for each episode, because each episode done by a different filmmaker and still the same
Oh yeah,
show, just a lot of different perspective, and I love that.
which is funny because most shows you go that are episodic, uh, it's very much a formula, and sometimes you'll get directors that are just kind of you know just making sure they hit beats, ding, 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 not a lot of creativity. In this, it demands that you come in with a vision. Rick's episode 6, and then you go into season 2, and we have the big heist where we're getting the I can't say it now. I could before the verbanium or whatever it is.
Spice or
No, when Bill Burr and I go in, and then like Pedro had to take the helmet off right in that scene, and they're trying to get the what should we call it, the power source. Anyways,
okay, I kind of have the
those
idea
kind,
which one you're talking about, but I think I got it.
yeah, yeah, and so those moments are told in such a specific way, and they say at the beginning of the episode, hey, this one we're doing a heist, this one we're doing a jailbreak, this one is classic Sergio Leone, this is a Kurosawa. If you look at like the Jedi that Dave did in season 2, that was probably the my that I don't know, there's a few that are right up there at the top, and the Jedi is one of them because it was so a Kurosawa Western mixture. And then Rosario coming in, and the magistrate, and the spear of Beskar, because what it promises, and the struggle with Grogu, and that presentation of it, the way Dave did it to me, was that was when I was like, oh, I see you. I see your signature. I see your style. There you go. That was amazing.
And you just talked about all these episodes that you worked on. Did you have a favorite that you worked on?
Um, I have a favorite moment from every episode. It's probably the best way to do it, because I look at it as a long movie, and a bunch of different people coming in to shape parts of the movie. And in Rick's episode with the mud horn, being in that mud, being punished in that mud, freezing, like there's nothing worse as when you're working than to be cold and wet constantly. And I had to be constantly sprayed down, cleaned off, but dripping wet because I'm fighting the mud horn, and I'm trying to get my signet and this whole thing. And I remember at one point, Rick's like, I just want you to bring that blade up. And I was like, oh, it's going to look so cheesy. And I told him, and he was like, nope, trust me, it's going to be your knight in shining. I was like, oh. And then he was right. I was wrong. You got it again, Rick. You were right. And then, you have the, just like the moment where O'Mara goes to help me take my helmet off, and that decision being made. For me, that was a really wonderful time. In Boba, it was fighting and shooting, and probably the most amazing for me was stepping in behind the curtain and having the silhouette like that.
Yeah, I definitely know what
like,
you're talking about. That was awesome.
yeah, I was like, oh my, that was.
We got a lot of chills during Boba Fett. That was there was a lot of moments there that were really phenomenal.
Yeah, and then Latif's work is another one of my favorite moments in that what we call the meat locker scene, because it was the first time where he was really free to blend his amazing gracefulness into the Western style, and the brutality of what we wanted in that moment came across. And I was like, oh, bro, that was amazing. So, yeah.
So what was it like to wear the costume on the set? Is it heavy? Is it very comfortable? What's wearing the armor like?
I don't know if I'd say it's comfortable. It's gotten more comfortable as we've shot. They've made some adjustments. But it's like those obstacles that we were talking about earlier. For me, that was a wonderful challenge. I was like, I'm gonna make this work. I'm not gonna make somebody else spent the time to create this beautiful presentation. So it's my job is to live in it as well as I can. And so if I have to make an adjustment or ask them to make an adjustment, then they will. But I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to take the challenge of this character, and I looked at Kabuki quite a bit and their ability to radiate an emotion without even moving. They're in this mask, and it's whatever they're able to live here, and here is able to radiate. My acting coach, Nikolai Guzov, was amazing at teaching me how to physically be present and share the story while not speaking. John Ford did it for my grandfather. As a matter of fact, he would take lines away from him because my grandfather would say things like, I really like this line here, John. Is there any way I can add something to it, Pappy? And then my Uncle Jack would be like, oh, you like it, huh? Oh, okay, hold on. We're not doing that scene. We're just gonna have Duke walk in. And that was like, my grandfather realized that, never to ask him for something like that. But more importantly was that his presence alone, he can trust it. And that's what I love. Like when you watch an actor who doesn't want as many lines because they know they're going to fulfill this moment without them, I love it. I love it. It's really compelling.
And just to wrap things up here, if you could play a character in the world of Star Wars that has not made an appearance yet, who would you pick and why?
Well, it would have been Cad Bane. Interestingly enough, I'd like to play Din Djarin's father.
Oh, okay.
Because as a father myself, the story that leads up to the attack and wiping out of all these, rebellious to the empire tribes and people and nations or planets is very interesting because Din doesn't come from nowhere. Like he didn't, the Mandalorians, his savior in Death Watch, which I also played.
Yep.
He didn't impart on him the violence of Death Watch. So whoever his father was clearly runs in his blood. So what is it that allows him to question the creed, to have the strength to admit his mistakes and communicate them in a way that allows him to be able to grow? Because isn't that what we all need? So to me, it's the teachings of the father and the mother, or however that dynamic worked, the father and the father, whatever it was. I would like to be able to see that story that led up to him. I think it could be quite interesting.
I agree. That would definitely be an interesting thing to do. I have one more question that I would like to ask you. I'm an artist, so I like to make paintings and drawings and stuff. And I was wondering if I could do something for you.
Absolutely. What do you want to do?
I'll do anything you want to do. I can draw. I can paint. You can pick out an image for me if you want.
Oh, I have one for you, and you will be blown away by it. It was
All
something
right.
that Robert Rodriguez took a picture of me in costume. 100%. I will send you that image, and I think you'll be blown away by it. It is stunning. And if you would like to do that, I would be honored.
I would definitely do it for you. I'll do it in any medium you want, and I'll get right on it.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I'm not in my normal office right now because my wife's directing a play and working with some of the cast out in the office. But I have some fan art. This is something I bought that a fan created. I have, so is this. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah.
Get a little bit.
But I have some other like charcoals that were done. So I love it. It inspires me. I put it up in my room on set. When I'm on set, that's pretty much my home. I have my heavy bag in there. I have my everything that would inspire me, and one of them is exactly that. You know, my art from fans. But I mean, fans sounds distant from me. I'd rather just say fellow lovers of Star Wars.
Well, I definitely look forward to doing something for you, and we'll touch base to coordinate that. And I really want to appreciate. I'm very thankful for your time, taking the time to chat with me. It was a great honor, and I really appreciate the time. And I loved all the compliments you gave me. That was like the most really exciting thing I ever heard that someone said to me. I've never got that before.
You're very impressive, and I honestly am inspired by what you do, what the courage it takes. First of all, to have an interview with somebody. I'm sorry, it's very, to me, it's I could find a way, but the reality is I would have to. Whereas you do it with such grace and ease. It's honestly very cool. That said, also, when season 3 comes out, we need to do this again because
Absolutely, I would love to.
I'm telling you right now, I want to know what it is and like how you feel about it, because what we did and how you react to it, I cannot wait. Maybe what we should do is we'll do one of those live watches where we both watch the episode.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And we'll go, we can talk about it afterwards, whatever you want. We'll do something like that. I think it would be really cool.
That would be so awesome. I'm excited to see what comes next for season 3. I'm glad we got Baby Yoda back, so Grogu back.
Yeah, I call him the kid. He's always the kid.
The kid. And then I'm anxious to see what we got for Ahsoka coming out next year or so. And then we got Skywalker coming back.
I went over to visit him. Oh yeah, I visited him on set yesterday. Wow, that's all I gotta say.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'll keep the secrets for as long as I can. Well, when they come out, of course. I don't spoil anything.
I know that's what I love about you.
Oh, you're too kind. Well, thank you again, Brendan. It was really great chatting with you. I will send you the link and tag you on social media whenever I get this uploaded, and we'll go from there.
Cool. Thank you so much. And make sure I'll have my manager reach out. We'll get information so I can send you stuff.
Awesome. And when I finish the painting, I'll send it to you as well.
That is so cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a great one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.